Now, this is the reason why you should pick up Mamiya instead of a Hasselblad. So most of you don't know, but I'm one of the users of the subway station in Lisbon, and every time during lunch break at each and every day of the week, I go out for a stroll with my cameras. So most of the times you're walking around without any issues whatsoever with a camera at hand. Most of the people think you are a tourist, so they don't bother you, and there is literally zero confrontation. Now, of course, this does not mean that you don't need to be stealthy. Of course, you do need to be stealthy at the Subway of Lisbon, for a very simple reason. When you have a camera and you shoot somebody, if you take the camera to your eye, people will notice that you're shooting. They will not bother you, of course, but they will notice and they will act accordingly. If you have a camera like a Hasselblad, like a Rolleiflex, like a Mamiya C, people most of the times will not understand that they're being photographed, so they act completely natural. So you arrived to the part of the video where I kindly ask you to hit subscribe so I can continue to create videos like this. Thank you. Throughout all these years that I've been shooting the Subway of Lisbon, I've used several types of cameras. Most of them Nikons. Now, it's not that I have something against Canon. I never went for this kind of war between Nikon and Canon. I just feel that the Nikon is much more anatomic in my hand than a Canon is. So, truth be told, I first started to shoot the Subway about 12 years ago with a Rolleicord. Then I quickly swapped it for a Nikon F, an original Nikon F. Then a Nikon F2 for a while, a very short while, a Nikon F3, a Nikon F4, and then at the end, a Nikon F5. But somewhere in between the Nikon F3 and the Nikon F5, I bought a Rolleiflex and a Mamiya C. So I quickly started to understand that it was slightly better to photograph the subway and to photograph the big masses with a TLR camera rather than an SLR. And the reason behind this is that you're actually shooting from the hip and you don't need to take the camera to your eye to make the photograph. Now, if you pair this idea with the fact that TLRs are generally speaking much more silent than an SLR is, you have in your hands a clear winner. Now, I am well aware that this video is proposing itself to be a comparison between the Mamiya and the Hasselblad and not between the Rolleiflex and the Nikon Fs, but bear with me, I'll get to that in a while. So when I started with the SLRs, I was getting very good results with the Nikon Fs, and I've shot them a bit throughout all these years. However, my game changer appeared on the day that I bought the Rolleiflex, and to be honest, game changer for me, it might not be for you, but to me it actually was. But the Rolleiflex isn't without a flaw, and the flaw of the Rolleiflex is its exquisiteness and its own intrinsic beauty. So the Rolleiflex itself draws a lot of attention because of its uniqueness and being an exotic camera around your neck. So in walks the Mamiya. And the Mamiya is almost the exact opposite of the Rolleiflex. The Mamiya is big, clunky, full of noises, ugly, but it works and it delivers the results that you expect of it. And one day I also decided to buy a Hasselblad. And the Hasselblad of the other two, of the Rolleiflex and the Mamiya, is the loudest of them all. When you press the shutter of the Hasselblad, the whole block hears the shot. However, this camera has a huge advantage towards the others. What happens is she's very, very noisy. However, the Zeiss lens in front of it is extremely good. And I know, and there is no point on saying this in the comments, that two of these cameras are TLRs, and, of course, the Hasselblad isn't. But the fact is that the result is absolutely the same. It's a 6x6 image that in the end you don't see any difference. You don't know who took that shot. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to teach you how to load the Mamiya C camera. Here she is. It's one of the cameras that I normally have on the floor, but it will work. And how do you load this? So you have this button here that opens and closes this latch in the back. So normally you would rotate it because it has a feature, a safety feature to avoid you from opening it. So when you close and you have the film inside, you just rotate it like this, so over there, and she doesn't open anymore. So to open, you need to do the opposite. To open, you need to do it like this, then you can open. So normally you would have a spool here on the back, which I'm going to insert because I have extra spools laying around. So you're going to put it like this. Then this is my dummy test roll that I use for these kind of presentations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to slide this in its place and voila. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull this all the way up, insert it on the upper spool like this, and then manually start to wind the thing until you see an arrow, and you're going to line this arrow with this red dot. I don't know if you see it, but there is a red dot over there. So you align it, there you go, you close it, you rotate it so it doesn't open again, and then there you go, frame number 1, she's ready to shoot on frame number 1. Now I'm going to teach you something else, which is why, in a way, this design has a flaw that with the Hasselblad and with that specific back that I have for the Hasselblad does not have. So I'm going to open this. I just loaded it, a film, my test film, which has nothing, it's just blank paper. So I'm going to open this and I'm going to show you what I mean. So you rotate it like this and then you can open it. So you can see that here is frame number 1. What happens is the film actually doesn't start on frame number 1. The film actually starts here on these arrows. So there is this gap over here that you're not going to use. So you're only going to use this part here, and there is like 4 or 5 centimeters up here that are not going to be used. And this is my Hasselblad with 150 millimeters lens from Zeiss. This is what people mostly know about Hasselblad, the colors. I normally don't shoot with this camera for a very simple reason. She's almost brand new, and the back and the serial and the back and the front have the same serial numbers, so they match. They are both the age. This means that they are from 1959. So this is a modular camera, so everything can be separated from each other. Even the prism can be removed. Well, I'm not going to remove it now, but you can just easily detach it and you can easily open it as well. So the film is here and you're going to load it like this. There's here this dark slide. This is called the dark slide, and you can remove it when you want to shoot, and the film will stay here. So you're going to open this, you're going to load the film like this. You pull this out and you take the spool off. You have this one here in front. You have my dummy roll that I use for the tests, going to be used again, and you put it like this. You close it here, you roll like this until you see here the lines, the arrow. Here you're going to just twist it for a little bit so it opens this pressure plate here where you can insert the film underneath, and now you can close it like this and it stays completely, you know, there. So then you put it like this, you roll by hand a little bit like this, and then it's set to go. You put inside this module, you close it, and then you with your nail flap this out and you start to rotate it until you see the number 1 inside there. So I'm going to do it. A little bit, come on, come on, come on, come on. I don't have all day. And it's number 1. I don't know if you can see it. There is a number 1 there inside. So the big advantages with a Hasselblad that I was talking before, it's the following. Hasselblad, as you are cranking this manually, well, the other one you were cranking it manually as well. But with this one here, it's a bit more precise and you don't have to start on number 1. Notice that the Mamiya starts at number 1. You go rolling, 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 and then it stops. With the Hasselblad, it's not like this. I'm going to show you. Just going to remove this, take this out. Then I'm going to re-roll this. As again, I said it to you, this is my test roll that I use to test my cameras, so there's no issue whatsoever. Don't do this at home because otherwise you're, damaging a perfectly good film. So again, you put it like this, you close this flap, you pull this out until you see the arrow, like that arrow over there. You pass this underneath this small thingy, you close it, and you insert it over there, preferably well. And then you start to rotate this by hand until it catches. When it catches, it's all set to go. But notice one thing. I can stop to do this manually at any time that I want to. So when I'm rolling, the film is also rolling. And now comes the good part of only with these backs that this work. The other ones don't. The more advanced ones, you cannot do this. So now the film starts to appear right about now here, and you're going to see it passing by. And voila, here there is the film. The film goes in the front. And at this moment, you can start to shoot the film here. This meaning that I'm going to advance a little bit more. So when you see the first dot, I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to show you. You see that dot over there? So there's a big dot, a smaller one, a very tiny, and then comes number 1. But actually now you can already start to take photographs. What happens is this roll, instead of 12 photographs, will give you 13. And that's a really big advantage because I really shoot a lot of rolls per month. And if I can have an extra photo, that's an added bonus for me. One of the differences that I also talked about was the shutter sound from the Mamiya to the Hasselblad. And the biggest difference is this. The Mamiya, you advance the film, you cock the shutter, and then you shoot it. And the sound is like this. So again, you cock the shutter, and it's very, very quiet. So this in the Subway, it's almost unnoticed. What happens with a Hasselblad is the sound is well different. Going just to cock the shutter, you're going to see. No, wait, I need to remove the dark slide first, and now you hear it. You hear the difference? This is a really beautiful sound, but everybody can hear in a mile. So that's a really big advantage towards the Mamiya. So the question is, why should you buy a Mamiya C instead of a Hasselblad? And the answer is a bit straightforward. So this is the Mamiya C, and the Mamiya C, you can do 12 shots. It's slightly silenter than the Hasselblad. And the Hasselblad, which is right here, you can do 13 shots with it instead of the 12 shots that you can do with the Mamiya. But the thing is, this costs around 300 euros in the used market in good state. This costs around 1,300, which is roughly 4 times as much as this one. So for the price of this one, you can buy 4 of these ones. And I've been showing you photographs out in the video of both cameras, taken by both cameras, and you don't see the difference between them. So is it actually worth to buy this one for 1,300 euros while you can buy this one for 300 euros? That's for you up to decide. For me, well, I have both of them because at a time of my life I just bought one of these ones because I already have this one and I have a C3 over there. And to be really honest, for me, if I was to buy one of these 2 cameras, I would definitely buy the Mamiya. Because I can buy the Mamiya and 3 or 4 lenses of these ones. For instance, the 60mm, the 150 and the 80mm for a fraction of the price of this one. Because when you buy a Hasselblad, you also buy the name Hasselblad. So my advice, buy this one and shoot, practice, and practice. So again, many thanks for watching the video. Do hit the subscribe button down below and I will see you soon. Or as we say in Portuguese, até breve.